Did Donald Trump plot to embarrass King Charles III as payback for the United Kingdom's foreign policy stance? And also the digital services tax, which will force US companies to pay 4% taxes, which is fair enough considering it's still pretty darn low. And Amazon, for instance, currently pays no corporation tax in Europe. They actually declare a loss. A loss, I tell you. So what's the point? What's the point in having them there in the first place? They're not doing any good for the United Kingdom. And then there is Europe. Now, Emmanuel Macron, he's been in Athens in the last couple of days, and he's been in talks with the Greek president, and suggested that he gives the Greek jets the Greek jets to Ukraine. And get a special price, they will, for a Rafale jets, which are obviously a much more advanced jet. So they'll be sending those with a bit of luck. But there's, much reduced price. I don't know what I'm going to be paying, what the reduction is going to be. Is it going to be like 2 for 1? I don't know. But it's an opportunity for Greece to upgrade their Air Force. Also, at this this gathering in Greece, Athens in Greece, that it's been suggested that France supplies jets with nuclear missiles as a nuclear deterrent. Now that's all very well, but we're already sticking our fingers up that we are to the United States currently, because they've pretty much done the same to us. And it does frustrate me when I see that so many people in the United States and in the UK and in Europe do not understand how NATO works. They do not understand that you're not paying for the security and safety of Europe. Not at all. You're just providing your own spending on your own military. You have a responsibility to spend a minimum of whatever it might be, 4%, 5% of your GDP, your gross domestic product, on your defence. Now, the United States, for instance, works out its spending on defence a little bit different to, say, for instance, the United Kingdom or France or Germany, etc., etc. Now, you see, the United States includes all their veteran spending and it's all bundled into the same thing. Well, that's not defence. It's effectively like a pension scheme, isn't it, or healthcare for the veterans, even though Donald Trump seems quite happy to arrest US veterans and remove their healthcare and also sack them, because many of the civil servants that were fired within the Doge, many of those civil servants were actually veterans. There's about 30% veteran uptake within the civil service. So it's clear to me that it seems a little bit unfair or a little bit biased towards the United States. And also, this thing that people say, well, we are protecting Europe. Well, no, actually, you're painting a target on our backs. That's what the United States is doing as part of NATO. And unfortunately, the whole pact is falling apart. Now, Donald Trump seems to think that he could just push out Spain out of NATO, but that's not a thing. It's not possible. You see, there's Article 10, which is to join NATO, then there's Article 13 to leave NATO, but that has to be their choice. Hello there, Yoga. Their choice. So they can, any member can submit an Article 13 to leave NATO, but they can't. You can't just, push a member out of NATO. It doesn't work like that. Now, if, for instance, Europe is looking to ostracise the United States by saying, we don't want your bases here, because I think that's where we're heading. The quickest and easiest way of doing that is to set up a new, I say the quickest way, it's not really the quickest way, is it? But, one way of doing that would be to set up a new alliance, a European version of NATO. Now, considering that EU member states and Europe in general are upping their spend anyway regarding the military spend on defence, it would stand to reason. Hello, Pamo. It would stand to reason that they could potentially take care of themselves. The problem for the United Kingdom is that they're heavily dependent on the US for the so-called nuclear deterrent. So the US supplies the vessel, the rocket effectively, and all the other stuff. And then the UK puts the warhead in it. Or was it the other way around? No, it is. Yeah, no, it is the launch systems. And the UK doesn't really have it. They have the submarines. That's about all they got, really. Regarding nuclear deterrence, they have been heavily relying on the United States for that. Now, I personally, this zero-sum game doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me, to be honest. What's the point of blowing everybody up to absolute, as a threat, but there's nothing left at the end of it? It seems a bit pointless. But, wouldn't it be nice if there was no nuclear threat? It would be nice if, for instance, we didn't want to blow each other up, but we get that way, aren't we? We do enjoy to destroy shit. Like, for instance, try to just destroy Iran, for instance. Well, that ain't working, is it? Iran seems to have the upper hand, and they open, and then it's closed, and then it's open, and then it's closed, and it's closed, and then it's open, and crikey, Donald Trump says it's open, so then it's obviously closed. And now the Somalians are getting involved, you see. Not on the Strait of Hormuz, because it's the Red Sea, not the Persian Gulf. Somalian pirates have actually taken an oil tanker, and about 15 crew members have been held hostage by these Somalians. Now, when you consider you got Somalia at the bottom of the entrance of the Red Sea, and then you go into it, and you got Yemen on the east coast, and with the Houthi rebels, what have you, which you're just waiting for Iran to give them the heads up to. Hello, what angry pagan? Hope you're well, friend. Badger, Marcus Badger. Hello, there, my friend. Oh, the Bab de Mal. Yeah, that's right, in the Red Sea. The Bab al Mandab Strait. Yes, they close that as well. That's another 10% of trade lost that comes out of, the Red Sea. And then you got the Suez Canal. I was supposed to get out that way, but you all got to pay a fee for that, haven't they? But now, even if, for instance, there was an agreement today, which ain't going to be one because, there's nobody there. The Iranians have already gone home, and Trump decided to cancel. That's what he said here. He decided to cancel. Yes, so just cancelled the trip of my representatives going to Islamabad. This is on the Truth Social, by the way. Pakistan to meet with the Iranians. Too much time wasted on travelling, too much work, he says. Besides which, there is a tremendous infighting. They seem pretty, if you ask me, the Iranians seem pretty cohesive. They know exactly what they're doing. They know they've got the upper hand. Trump has not got, the US hasn't got the upper hand there. You think they went for the greatest military in the world, but end of the day, Iran has managed to close that strait and effectively stopped all shipping passing. Now, I never thought I'd find myself egging for the Iranians. I really don't. We are painted this picture with propaganda, what have you, regarding Iran. And don't get me wrong, the regime's awful. As far as I'm concerned, the regime's awful, but it does feel a little bit kind of, they were provoked by the United States, didn't they? They were invaded. The Mandarin revenge, a monkey has gotten himself lost under his own bluster. Well, Donald Trump, he might have had a chocolate cake with him or something. But anyway, so even if they managed to come to an agreement and the strait was so-called open, it's going to take 6 months to clear it anyway with these so-called mines. And then there's all the infrastructure that has been destroyed, whether it be storage or refineries. They ain't going to happen overnight, is it? And then you got the catch-up. And you got obviously the futures price for the oil, and you got the price paid. And that's good. They're still going to be heading on the high side. You see, there's shortages. And when you have shortages, you have a supply issue, don't you? You really do. So, supply and demand. And clearly, the United States has really fecked us all. They really have. Now Donald Trump says that he hasn't said this, but apparently in a leaked memo from the Pentagon, Donald Trump is plotting to embarrass King Charles III. Well, let's be honest, he needs a bit of embarrassing, yeah. But that isn't Donald Trump's place. He wants to question him on the Falkland Islands, the Isla Maldivas. Now, there's about 300 miles off the coast of Argentina, and Argentina's never inhabited the Falkland Islands anyway. So they haven't. How can they haven't really got any claim to it. And besides, the UK has defended it in the past, and I'm sure the military, who were like, for instance, Simon, who got burnt, badly disfigured, and what have you. I'm sure he won't be too happy either. But it's just Trump's childish tactics. It's supposed to be a diplomatic visit, and it's just been turned into some kind of tit for tat. Trump embarrasses himself every time he opens his mouth, like he does. Well, he reckons he's going to tariff everybody, and he wants to tariff the UK because UK's got. I thought the Supreme Court said that the tariffs had to be cancelled, to be stopped, and would have to be paid back. Yeah, not you. No, just all the companies that already claimed the tariff money off you in the United States, just to, and now they're going to get paid again. Okay, some of them might have sucked it up, but crikey. But in most cases, they're a business, aren't they? And obviously they're a business, and they got to pass those costs on to the customer. From what I've been hearing, and negotiating with Iran is going to be ultra difficult if the IRGC seems to have taken control after the Ayatollah Khamenei was killed. Well, it is. It's basically how the son with one leg managed to get his position. Really, it's not normal for him for the son just to take over like that. There's a process. But anyway, he replaced his father, and now he's got one leg. Half his family's been killed, so it's not going to be very easy, is it? So the IRGC clearly got a big stake to play here, haven't they? Because he wouldn't be there without them. Yeah, his son is not in a place to do anything. They're not interested in the deal. They've made it quite clear what they want. Iran wants the United States to be out of the Persian Gulf and all the Arab states. They want them to be out of Saudi, the United Arab Emirates, etc., etc. Don't want them there. It'd not be funny. Do you blame them? The crazy thing is the US wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for the fact the US interfered years ago, because they didn't like the fact that it was 1950 something. The Iranians were going to go public with the oil, so the people benefit. You know, if you think like Gaddafi, what have you, as well, he was basically killed, wasn't he? He was taken out. Well, actually, he was sodomized first with a bayonet, then shot dead. Gaddafi of Libya, what have you, free education. He was showing African countries the way. Now they're trying to get rid of, I can't remember his name though. Oh my Gideon. There's another young military leader who's making massive in Africa, and I can't remember his name. Who's making massive changes, just showing how things can be done. It's basically pushed everybody out. All the corporations have all been pushed out, and other countries have been pushed out, and they're making their own cars, they're using their own rare earths, what have you, and making deals with countries that don't try and take over effectively. Yeah, let alone the fact that the current US negotiating teams are headed by grifters. Oh, what do you mean, what? Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff? Yeah, you could say that. Grifters? No, never. Really? Yeah. Why is Kushner there anyway? Oh, well, it's because it's Israel. That's why, isn't it? Yeah. Crazy. Mossad. Meanwhile, Asia, South America, Africa, and the UK and Europe want all three, including Israel, to just quit it. Yeah. Well, we want them all to quit. But yeah, Iran was the ones who were attacked. They were attacked. Just like Venezuela was attacked. And now Cuba has been attacked effectively. And that'll be Greenland. Kushner reminds me of the robot from the iRobot movie. Dude gives me the creeps. Oh, he's weird, isn't he? He's like Scott Besant as well. He's weird and all. It's like, I don't know what's going on with his face. He's like, he can't move it. Some wig, aren't they, These people. What is it with these billionaires, eh? Destroying absolutely everything. I agree with Angry Pagan. We over here like, come on guys, what the actual the F word. Yeah, so it's just nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Meanwhile, it's just like every single day something egregious happens. Another verbal attack. There's very few people out there you say that as political leaders that are actually seem to be doing anything positive at the moment. One is Mark Carney. I think he's pretty genuine, doing the best that he can, for his country. And he was being attacked. They're going on about whiskey. Well, let's be honest, they don't really have a lot say who buys. You can't force people to buy US whiskey. Yes, darling.
That T-shirt's really annoying.
The T-shirt's really... Apparently my T-shirt's really annoying. I think because it messes with the words at the bottom with the chat, maybe.
Yeah, it does work.
Deadbeat. Yes, it has put. Oh yeah, good point. It has put Nat Farage in a bit of a twist. The man that he backed is kind of being, how to put it, very anti, and obviously anti. Well, the royal family, really, as well. And I'm no lover of the royal family, as you probably already know. And but yeah, I still don't like the idea of the United States attacking the royal family, because I don't think it's their place to do so. It's down to the people. They're not happy with it. Erica Trump. The way she stares with her eyes, it brings me back to watching A Nightmare on Elm Street when I was a kid. Oh my God, that Nightmare on Elm Street with the gloves and the razor blades and stuff. Yeah, oh, crikey. Freddy, whatever his name was, Freddy Krueger. Well, Farage is another one, isn't he? He's oh, got a coffee here. Losing my voice here. He's parading around in his yellow trousers again today. Now, my daughter, amongst all the reform flags planted down her road, she decided to put a Labour one up. Now, for me, I'd be putting a Green one up, quite frankly. From what I can see, Zach Palensky is forward thinking. I can see the Greens getting a lot of seats. I really can. But also that'll split the vote as well, won't it? Whereas before, the Greens have really just tickled a little bit, really. Maybe 1 or 2 seats. Well, 1 seat, Caroline. Well, she's left now, hasn't she? Zach Palensky, I think he's a bit of a diamond, that geezer. He's proven to be somebody not just about hugging trees and what have you, but he's actually being logical. And Farage is a Timu Trump. I like Palensky. I hope the Greens do well. So do I. He plays the moral game. Now, I actually like Sadiq Khan as well, but he's just part of the system, really, part of the problem as well, even though he's one of the better ones, as far as I'm concerned. But Zach Palensky was, he basically, he slam dunked Sadiq Khan in regards to, I think it was private jets or something like that. There was no moral way that Sadiq Khan could justify these private jets, and I think like taxation or something. I don't know what it was about. But yeah, Zach Palensky, he was really on the ball with that. I was quite impressed. I do like Zach Palensky. I really do. There are still some people in the Green Party a little bit strange, to say the least. But I do admire the one who didn't shake the Reform Party when they're getting sworn in, shake his hand. I thought she was, fake. I'm not shaking your hand. I thought that was hilarious. And that was good to see. I would like to see someone not shake Donald Trump's hands, quite frankly. And besides, it's a bit like pulling the finger, isn't it? You're popping out the back at the same time. Like, gee on. He's there the other day and he said, I need a shit. A live mic moment. Oh, I need a shit. Clear up on aisle number 5 or something, I don't know. Awful, man. Absolutely awful, man. Even his mother said that he should never be the president of the United States. Even his mother said that. Just like, Pete Hegseth's mother pretty much said that Hegseth was not a moral man. He clearly isn't. He just likes double taps and stuff, doesn't he? He likes war crimes. One angry pagan says, I want to hear more solid policy and see the Greens to be far more electorally successful first. I don't trust either centrist or populism and unaffiliated to... Oh, no, of course. No, definitely not. I want to see policy that works. I want to see them start taxing and squeezing the billionaires. And if they leave, they leave. Beg them. You know, they're not all this thing about them helping. You know, they're the ones making all the jobs. They're not. It's the little people who are making the jobs. It's like the plumber down the road who decide to go self-employed and shit like that, you know, and eventually they hire somebody. They then start training somebody. It goes on like that. These people that just, okay, they might, the people that they're hiring, and they fucking sack them because of AI. If you look, for instance, Larry Ellison's Oracle, they got rid of thousands of people that affected their workforce because of AI. Microsoft are doing the same. Amazon's doing the same. All the people that were there pushing trolleys about in these factories all been replaced with robots and AI. That's why they're supporting it. That's, you know. Meanwhile, we'll not be out of job. You know, how are you going to support an economy if you haven't got the people working? They just become a liability. Because no one's going to have a job. They're all going to be on the social, and if you're lucky, and then where's the country then? UBI, maybe universal basic income. That's going to become a necessity, but then it's people are going to be, like I say, could be a liability. And once we become a liability, they won't be promoting or wanting people to have children. They'll be restricting it. They'll be like, oh, one child cap on, you know, like China did. It'll be something. But then they'll be looking after the old people. Oh, don't worry, the robots will do that. Land tax. You need to get rid of asset holding companies. Is what you need to get rid of, because what the billionaires do, they start up these asset holding companies. Basically, starting a company with asset holding status, and they buy up land and property and what have you. And because they're from abroad, this is because Alexander Boris to Ethel Johnson, and he decided to bring something back that Cameron got rid of. Asset holding companies, and they don't pay tax on it. So when they sell a piece of land or property, they can sell it, offshore the money, and not pay any tax whatsoever on the profits. How's that right? But if you do it, you know, as a British citizen, well, then you have to pay tax on your profits. Now, I never used to say this, so there's things about the United States I absolutely love. I think, you know, it's a fantastic country run by a whole load of idiots, and quite a large percentage of idiots that vote the idiots in. Yeah, the MAGAs and all that, you know, going, you know, make America great again with their little red hats that are made in the PRC, in China, which is just an oxymoron in itself. Start no new wars, no forever wars. I mean, exactly what's going on now is it's a bloody war. It's madness. And now Donald Trump is still pushing the Save America Act. If you like his names, he gives it, you know, all these little acts and stuff, and Save America, or the Great Big Beautiful Bill and what have you. It's all negative shit. Everything's bad in it, you know. And yeah, there was the gerrymandering the other day, wasn't there, regarding the Democrats, and now it looks like it's been struck down by a MAGA judge. We'll see what happens there. Oh, Scientology! No, don't do it! Yeah, you might need to sort out some of these policies. And it's the same in the United States, but it ain't going to happen until you get rid of the rubbish, is it? You know, Donald Trump. One day you might, we're all reading the papers that Donald Trump has had a cankerism. Unfortunately, I want to see it live, okay? I want to see Donald Trump have a cankerism. It's like an aneurysm, but of the cankles, all right? And he just explodes everywhere, and bits of lard, orange lard, are stuck to the ceiling, onto the fake gold, and onto this and onto that. You know what I mean? All over the podium, onto the fucking telly, you name it. I want to see it. That's what I would say. A bit like when Jaws was blown up and all the bits of lard start coming down, you know, all the blubber, you know. That's kind of that. I know it's not going to happen. You know, they'll cut the feed as soon as that happens, wouldn't they? You know, and besides, you probably won't be able to see because the lens would be covered. So, at some point, he's got to pop his clocks. You know, at the moment, he's being kept alive with drugs and electric shock therapy or something like that. I am a paleontologist, not an economist, but I understand it. Labour has actually raised taxes on the wealthy. That's why they've been bitching. Oh, he has. Yeah, I know he has. Yeah, but I see something. I want him to go further. Hogwash! Is there anyone from the Dems that you would love to run as president? Ooh. I think you need someone younger. Because currently the establishment, as it stands, is broken beyond belief. Someone young and capable. Young AOC. I think she's an amazing woman. You need a woman. That's what I think you need a woman. I really do. In the United States. Yeah, I currently AOC. Now, if it was an old person, it'd be Bernie Sanders, but he's too old now. You know, they had their chance with him. But you know, regarding the Democrats, it'd have to be someone like AOC. I think for me. I think she'd surprise us. She's sharp. Crockett, yeah, Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, maybe. Why not? You know, she's another smart cookie, isn't she? AOC looks a bit Rayner, politically speaking. Young, progressive, and outspoken. She's also not hard on the eyes. Look, I haven't heard like carved onto Mount Rushmore. Wouldn't be bad, would it? That'd be right, wouldn't it? You know. But you know, Trump though, on the other hand, I tell you what though, he looks like peeled orange, doesn't he? An unpeeled orange, sorry, like dimply orange skin. Just that's what Caroline said. Mrs. said she had a little orange skin. He said, yeah, but he's orange as well, so it made sense, I suppose. It's like he's had so much stuff put on there. It's like all the pores are like opened up, and it's just all caked in. That's just fucking horrible. The man is just horrid. And now he's talking about embarrassing the King of England. When the King, is it Monday? I think it's Monday. The King's doing a state visit. It should have been cancelled. It should have been, especially after this being leaked. It should have been cancelled. The United States is not a friend of the UK. It's not a friend of Europe as a whole. Certainly a friend of Ukraine, is it? You know, the damage that Trump has caused regarding the relationships between the United States and other world leaders, and you know. Now, okay, Trump is attacking Candace Owens at the moment. Because Candace Owens is attacking him, but he's attacking Candace Owens because of what Candace Owens has been saying about the First Lady of France. So it's a man, she says. Yeah, it's a man. But anyway, she's been sued. She is big time by the Macrons and using the same lawyers that was used for Dominion voting machines. That sued Fox. That Tucker Carlson then lost his job, didn't he? But she got me a glass of wine. She did in a Star Wars glass. Oh, you're such an oaf, you are. And I'll get rid of that. Yeah. But Dominion was sold. It was sold to one of Donald Trump's friends, a MAGA person, has bought Dominion voting machines, but also he changed the name to Liberty Vote. So there's a distinct possibility there's going to be a bit of corruption there regarding the voting. Oh, Jon Stewart. I could, yeah. Well, yeah. I thought it was quite funny. When Jon Stewart, when he showed the Trump Jesus, everyone said that's Jeffrey Epstein, but then it looks more like Jon Stewart. I thought that was hilarious. He is funny. He's funny, but also he's sharp. He does podcasts as well as his show, doesn't he? So he is sharp. Yeah, well, I could say that. I'd like to see someone in the political system, though. Let's put the work in. Shane Mandani can't run for president. He's the mayor anyway, isn't he? So he's the mayor of New York. But he's a good guy. He is a good guy. He's done a lot of positive changes in New York. And the people voted for him, you know? Just like Sadiq Khan. There's those that don't like him, but, you know, Londoners voted for Sadiq Khan to be the mayor of London. You know, could you imagine if it was a reform person? Crikey. They're talking about infighting. You've got the geezer from Great Yarmouth who was threatening Nigel Farage and what have you, with fisticuffs and stuff. You know, they're all thugs. Now, Labour has done a dossier. I don't know if you've seen it, but I need to do a video on that, actually. They've done a dossier on the Reform Party, on all the members of the Reform Party. And if you've seen that, I've had a brief glimpse through it, just some highlights of how people have been looking at. And it is shocking. These people in the Reform Party, and some of them are MPs at the moment, they are the worst. I mean, they are horrendous. Some of the crimes that they've been involved with in corruption and the things that they've said, racist shit, that's why they're there, because they're racist. They can't spell either, you know. I'm a terrible speller, but not be funny. I'm not selling out flyers and putting through people's doors. He is. Amanda is doing good stuff. He's made a lot of change regarding rent protections and all sorts of stuff he's been doing. You know, not rent, tenant protections, you know, for renters. Jon Stewart, that'd be funny. Oh, a properly socially liberal coalition. So really what you're looking for is some kind of sort of balance to government. A bit, everybody has a say. That's kind of what you need anyway. A bit like the Netherlands, you know. Instead of all this two-party business, it's just stupid. It's what they got in the United States, and you got that in the UK. You know, and I live in France, yeah, and there's a lot of French criticism of Emmanuel Macron. Now, my French neighbour, as lovely as she is, she's a little bit crackpot, right? She's anti-vax, anti-this, anti-that, you know what I mean? And she's just, she believes everything that her little kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, like dark web. But she believes everything she's been told, and one of these things is that there's a farm here, or some farmers in a sort of a group action, class action against the government, saying that the solar panels are killing the cows. I thought, there's too much electricity, it's going into the ground. What the fuck? You've had all these fucking overheads going over your farms for all these years, you didn't said nothing. Because there's some solar panels taking up a bit of land, you think, they're killing our cows. Fucking hell, these people are off their bloody tree. You know, off their heads. Off the tree. You know, off their heads they are. And it's just mad. Absolutely mad. I live amongst it. I live in rural France. I'm surrounded by French farmers, and some of them are lovely. But I'm sorry, but I have to query whether or not the father is also the brother and sister, brother or sister. You know what I mean? Not father, but the father's over the brother. The brother's anyway. A bit inbred. It's one way to keep it in the family, you garden the land, because the way you can't disinherit your family in France. You see, in the UK, you can write a will, can you? Say, no, you're getting nothing. Same in the United States, you're getting nothing. But in France, you can't do that. You can't disinherit your family. So all your family members are entitled to your estate. It's split. Also, an individual family member can only get up to 100,000 in cash. So that there's a ways around it. There's loopholes, but so what the French don't want to split up their land. Now, if anyone knows anything about France and the land in France, there's so many tiny little parcels of land, and some of them are landlocked. And the reason for that is because the land ends up getting, like, for instance, instead of handing money over, they hand the land over. And you get a parcel over there, and they get the geomet in and split the land up, and then it gets broken down. So they'll try and keep it in the family anyway if they can. I understand that, because you end up with all these little landlocked bits of land that you can't really get to other than via a shaman, like a little pathway, and then it isn't big enough to farm. There we go. Oh, what have I missed? The species in question was the Rice's whale, which is roughly 50. Oh, what have I missed? Farmers piss me off. They keep trying to find explanations as to why they need to shoot badgers. Well, they say they got TB or something stupid like that. It was bollocks, The badger's hair are protected. Now, there's what we call a voie vert here, and it's literally a railway line, and it's now a pathway. It's a green path. So effectively, that's tarmac, but it's amongst the trees. In fact, I've done a lot of videos down there before on my channel that's still fucking locked. Can't access it still. It's a nightmare. Anyway, this there where I'm in France, all badger sets all on the sides. They got little boards up having telling you about the badgers and stuff. So we're not worried about it. Not in France. With our koi poo and you see them running across the roads and stuff. I'm in rural France, okay? But, I love to see the nature. I love to see it. I love to witness it. I love to be a part of it, in the sense that, we're doing this, planting the trees. You know about this already, but planting the trees here, our property here. And it's little habitats and stuff we're creating as well. And for the insects as well, little insect houses and bird houses and stuff. I just love to see it, and I just feel like you're giving something back. You know what I mean? We take so much from the place that from this place, big spinning globe. We destroy it, and we need to put a little bit back. If we all did a little bit, I think it'd be quite a nice thing, But just it frustrates me. And you're right about the farmers, and that isn't just whether or not they spray the land. They're still using neonics, even though they're not allowed to. They're still using them. The rapeseed farmers are complaining because their crops they reckon they're getting less per hectare or acre regarding rapeseed. And what they put it down to is the fact that the seed is no longer allowed to be treated with neonics. Right? Now, for me, I say, good. I don't want neonics. All right, these fucking systemic. Oh, anyway, they go into the system, all right, and they end up in your food, and you eat it. Same with glyphosate. The weed killer, the Roundup. It goes in your food. Now, glyphosate is used to kill off the tops of wheat, is used to kill off the tops of potatoes, especially when you're farming in climatic regions, like for instance, like here in France. If you grow your wheat, and you'll get areas that dry for other areas, so what they do is they weed kill it, or they used to. They'd weed kill it, and the reason for that, there is good reason for it, and that's just because there's a virus or something that can get into the wheat and it's very dangerous for humans to consume. So I understand the reason for it, but there again, so is glyphosate. It's not. I don't like the idea of consuming that. All these weed killers, all these systemic or systematic, which way around is it? Anyway, go into the actual germ of the actual seed or into the potato tuber. It's actually in there because it becomes part of the plant, you see, because it's how it works. When it kills off the plant, it kills off everything, the roots and that as well on it. So, yeah, all these things are ending up in our food and we are eating it. So when they ban this stuff, I'm quite happy that they do. Personally, I think everybody should be happy that they, but the farmers obviously want to make as much money as they possibly can. Now, we used to manage in the past. I understand what's hard these days because the supermarkets might expect to get stuff for the song, not pay much money for the crop, and so do we. And unfortunately, if you look at the prices of food, for instance, here in France, are quite a bit higher than the UK. There's a lot of very cheap food in the UK, and it's cheap for a reason. Because there's no nutrient value in it. You see, farmers put these fertilisers that they can't get anymore because straight from the muse's blocked. They get these fertilisers put over the bloody land and what it grows a plant, but doesn't put all the minerals in it because the fertilisers don't have it's just NPKs, it's just nitrogen, potassium, and phosphate. I think is. And nitrogen is purely for growth, and potassium is to make a stronger plant, etc., etc. And it doesn't give you what you need. The best way to do that is to grow your own food. Using organic matter. Farmers don't generally use that; they use granular fertilizers. That's just science. Yep, that is. The other row I am having with farmers, which I'm losing due to their fare, is wolf reintroduction. They are hugely overpopulated here, and causing ecological. Oh shit! No, I didn't mean to delete it. That's just sorry. I accidentally deleted your message. Sorry, it's back. I think it's back again. I can see it there anyway. Causing ecological damage because we removed their predators. Now in France, I've reintroduced the predators in Perpignan area, which is more east of France. We've actually got them here now, where we are, and they are causing a bit of an issue. One of our friends who's a sheep farmer. Remember, the wolves are protected, right? Because it's a scheme to reintroduce them. They are protected, but it's been killing the sheep. And when we first realised there was an issue, one of our friends, Jeanette, she jogs a lot. She's quite old, but she runs. She's a tiny little woman. She runs. She's always running. Anyway, she's really scared because she saw one in the field, and not far from Marvel, in France. And anyway, she saw the thing. She wasn't quite certain what it was at first, but it was a wolf. And this sheep farm has been attacked. It's not far from Marvel, so I imagine it's the same family of wolves that's killing the sheep. So they're also an issue. We do also have a lot of deer, but we do also have hunting here. We have the chasse. I think they can't hunt at the moment because it's out of season. That was about 2 weeks ago. It was out of season, and they do shoot the deer, which I also don't like. Sorry. The problem, one of the problems with the deer is obviously they just destroy a lot of vegetation because they eat it. But also ticks, deer ticks, they spread some, Lyme's disease, you see, via the ticks. Hello, Joel. I hope you're well, my friend. Nice to see you here. This is where farmers need to adapt their farming practices. I'm sick of our environments being sacrificed for farms. I would like to see, I think one of the solutions to that is if we all went back a few decades to times when our parents used to grow their own food. I remember it. My grandfather, my mother, all used to grow food. You don't have to grow everything, but if we all grew a little bit, we would lessen our demand on the environment, as in farming and what have you. The supermarkets wouldn't do so well, which might be a blessing in disguise because UK supermarkets destroy everything. If it wasn't Tesco's these days, you got your pharmacy, you got your travel agents and insurance, you name it, bank, and you're all within the supermarkets. Well, in France, all that stuff is protected. Or pharmacies, you can't even buy aspirin or paracetamol in a supermarket here in France. You can't do it. They don't sell it. You have to go to a pharmacy to protected, which is a good thing. We have a pharmacy in every single little town. Even if it's only got like 3,000 occupants in the borough area. For us, we've got there's a pharmacy in Saint Laurent School, we've got a pharmacy in Orador, we've got a pharmacy in Cusack. They're all within 5 to 6 kilometres. Well, 6 kilometres. Much respect. So, and then there's the post offices. Every little town has a post office. They call it a ville here in France, so it's basically a little town. They try and protect the small businesses. The supermarkets aren't huge. Rural supermarkets aren't huge. They're big enough, And we have obviously all they sell is food and maybe for appliances and kitchen utensils. I grew up with my dad's dad growing his own veg during the mid-90s. Cool. Just Joel. So it's a crime to kill an endangered species in general here. Well, that's also a European thing, isn't it? It's I'm glad they've been reintroduced, but it'd be nice if they weren't eating our, they scare me a little bit, if I'm absolutely honest about it, because I know my little dog, he'd go loopy, absolutely loopy. He's a bit of a little hunter, that one, and he'd become a cropper. He really would. We had an issue with our rewilding here. I'd replaced a load of trees. There wasn't the deer, it was actually the cows. They trampled our fence, and we ended up with like a dozen cows in our field, and they just like eating the bark off the trees, and then they just died, don't they? Luckily, some of them just shoot again from the bottom, but we just replaced most of them. It's easier. Hello, Joel. Yeah, maybe, but later on. I don't think it's a worry at the moment. It's a new channel, that it's going to take some time to get people on this channel. I just thought, I'd give it a go because I just got it approved to be supposed to do live on this channel. And tomorrow I might even go live around Orador because they got a garden fete on. So that might be something of interest. We can talk about the stuff going around there. So I might do that. It's quite a good little event, actually. They sell little plants and stuff like that. Might be a bit of a problem with music's playing in the background, but we'll see. They should scare you. Wolves are the high-tier predators, and nature isn't supposed to be safe and cozy. I'd like to be safe and cozy. Sorry. I tell you what I am doing a lot of now, though. I'm cycling again. I used to cycle a lot, but I've got an electric bike now, and you still have to cycle, so it just makes the hills easier. I got my little bike, right, and it's I've made a little wooden box on the back for my little dog. He goes in the back of the bike. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. He craves it. As soon as I open the garage door, he's getting all excited, jumping up and what have you, and trying to get into the bike. So yeah, it's good. It's good for me anyway because I need the exercise and my legs feel a bit stronger. To be fair, they really do. So yeah, it's only an electric bike. It's only like a little. It's only a cheapy thing off Amazon. Unfortunately, I had to use Amazon because I don't know the monthly thing to save on fuel and what have you because fuel's so expensive. And it has saved us already, so it's quite good. I want nature to be safe and cosy, and that was led to such biodiversity loss and ecological damage. Well, tilling does that. The farms turning over the land when they don't really need to. They I suppose you could argue they do because they use mechanisation, but for individuals, you don't need to till. You do not need to turn the land over to grow veg. You just need to mulch. That's all you need to do. You could turn over the top 6 inches, just the top soil, 6 to 8 inches if you want. But most of the structure you just leave it alone. You just add on top. Just keep it adding on top, and you'll grow more veg that way anyway. This year we're trying all sorts of new stuff in the polytunnel and what have you, and the garden. And so and we've got loads of compost and stuff that we're going to use for mulch. So that's what we're going to do. It just makes sense, When you see, the thing is, when you know full well that the price of food is going to go through the roof. It already has here in France. It's already more expensive than it ever has done. And with food inflation being what it is, it doesn't go down, does it? Just because inflation's come down, it's got to go into the negatives. Some things have come down to, pre-COVID kind of price or pre-Ukraine war prices. But a lot of stuff is still high, compared with the prices that my daughter's paying in the UK. But there you go, I don't think I'd want to eat it. To be honest, I just I like real food, and we're having to be a lot more careful now as well with what we buy because when my account, I can't put videos on my other account, and that's monetized, and that's where we get most of our money from. So we're screwed, really. We've got no income. So because the channel's not doing anything now, is it? You see, it's news-related content, so on current videos. This channel's a new channel, it's not monetized. At some point it might be, but we'll see. It'll take a long while. Trees make me feel alive. You know what? I agree, 100%. It's just something nice. And look, the garden makes me feel alive as well. Just doing the garden, just tinkering in the garden, And even when we're pollarding trees and stuff, you're cutting bits off trees. Now, with the willows especially, because they kind of need it. Otherwise, they go brittle and they just break and cause disease and stuff, and the tree dies. So you do, unless you're trying to create a lot of undergrowth with a lot of rotting timber and stuff like that, and it's all part of it. You have to manage willow, which is what we've been doing because we pollarded the tree. I'll be pollarded the tree at the back of the house, and already it looks like a giant lollipop. It's amazing. We pollarded it late last year, and it's just gone mad. It's absolutely mad. Whereas before there was nothing there, maybe a few little shoots. Now it's just like each piece is probably 3 meters long again. It's crazy how quick that's grown. I do love willows. I think they're a brilliant tree. I grew up hiking on farmlands and woods, and even marshlands, and there is nothing more beautiful than raw countryside. I agree 100%. Unspoilt by humans. Definitely. It's lovely cycling around it. I found through really nice little routes. And you're going through some little villages and stuff like that, little farming villages, and then you're just going, into little narrow lanes and stuff through the, it's really nice. It's lovely. Yeah, 100% right. We need to adapt. You're 100% right. We need to adapt to our planet, not the planet adapt to us. The UK has one of the worst records for biodiversity loss globally. We need to have a serious societal rethink on nature and adapt. Well, all this, like, where my daughter lives, right, it's suburbs of Norwich, so you can't expect a lot of houses and stuff like that. But they got rid of all their lawns, right, and they just got all the way down their little front lawns. They're all like plastic now. They're all like these like fake grass. They must get so many ants. I just think, what the point is that? And there's people with hard landscape in them, and wondering why they got flooding. It doesn't make any sense. I know it's rural. It's not rural or suburbs, but when I think, I used to live in Sallows in Norwich, in Norfolk, and how that was, and how it is now. There's a massive uptake of land being taken by housing. Massive. Huge amount of houses being built. But in my mind, they're all the wrong houses. The wrong type of housing. Walking over the coast and rivers, Marcus, we have marshlands here. That is cold in the winter and hot during the summer. Now, I'm a little bit landlocked here. I'm not, in the sense that for us to go to the coast, it'll be La Rochelle and places like that for us. It'll be the nearest and Royan. But for lakes, we've got so many lakes here. They call it the land of 1,000 lakes. They call it. There's so many lakes. It's nice, and it's random lakes in the middle of woodlands and stuff like that. And just pretty overgrown. There's one literally just at the bottom corner of my land here. You go into the woods, and then there's a little lake. Oh, beautiful area, South Devon. One of the greenest parts of the island as a whole. Yet, even here, compared to, say, France or Portugal, it's empty of life, and I love it here. Yeah. It's a beautiful place, it really is. I love Devon. One of the places I really loved was Peak District. Because it wasn't too far from where we used to live in the UK. But it was... there's some fantastic walks. Yeah. Oh, I love it. We used to love all that. Still do, Oh, that's pretty cool. That's cool, Joe. Yeah, it's open and safe. Portugal inland, you will find completely empty lands. Depends where you go here. I don't think you're going to find empty lands. It's nearly all farmed, to be honest. There's a lot. We're in very much a meat farming area of France. A lot of Limousin cows, brown cows. There's also like dairy, like Friesians and that as well, but mainly Limousin cows. We're Limousin, so and sheep. A friend of ours farms pigs, but you don't generally see the pigs. They're often farmed in the woodlands and stuff, but also in sheds, unfortunately. Chicken farms, we've got an organic chicken farm not far from here, for eggs. Owned by a Dutch couple and their family, which is quite nice. We go there, get our eggs from there. There's deserts out there, more biodiverse and all of the United Kingdom. Where is it now? Is it China? Where they're trying to convert some of the deserts. I think it's China, or was it Saudi? Trying to biodiversify the some of the deserts. Trying to create some greenery, I suppose. Starts somewhere, doesn't it, It's a bit like that here, Now, since the farm got the road closed, I'm actually quite glad that they did, because our little road now, we very rarely get anyone come down there, you know. Like today, when I saw about 2 cars today out on the bike, you know. I think we're going to sell my motorbike now. I think that's going to have to go. I'm not using it. I just got on the push bike everywhere now. I've been going to the shops on the push bike, you know. I've even made a trailer for it. For shopping in. Because Nacho's in the back, you see, so I ain't got room in the back for the shopping. I have to take a trailer. So yeah, it's a bit funny. It's a bit of a sight. A fat man on a bike and with a dog in the back and a trailer with food. But it's a laugh. Luckily, we have no deserts, but I understand what you're speaking of. Biodiversity is needed. We have a lot here, but we need to have more. That's the same everywhere, isn't it? You know, and we're not going to get them. There's no good waiting for blooming governments to do it. They're only going to do what they think they have to do in relationship to keep the vote. So they've got to keep us happy. So we've got to tell them what we want. You know. Maybe a vote for the Green Party might be the way forward. Because I certainly would vote for them. Especially with Zach Palensky. Even if if Labour doesn't get in, it doesn't get in. All right, as far as I'm concerned. No, it has to be something different. It's still telling them that they're doing something wrong, isn't it? If they see that, oh, crikey, so many votes have gone to Green, even though they might not got in. It's still a signal, isn't it? It's still a signal that, we need to be green now or something, you know? That's my point of view anyway. So, anyway, I'm losing my voice here, I really am. So, anyway, Donald Trump is planning to, apparently, according to a leaked memo from the Pentagon, that planning to embarrass the king, which... whatever. The king with his sausage fingers. And then there is Trump basically embarrassing himself. He is one awful human being. And the fact that I have to look at this true social thing is torture. You know, even the ads on there are just ridiculous. You know, they're just like pictures of... They've got one here, a picture of a girl in front of a Learjet and a Ferrari, and that's an advert. I don't even know what it's for. Oh, it's an ad for a video. Oh, that's crazy. Man's a moron. But people follow it though. They follow it. So it's going to go on for a lot longer, this situation in Iran. It's not going to end anytime soon until the United States decides, oh, we've had enough, we're going to get out. Oh, no, let's go and attack Greenland instead. And let's make Canada the 51st state or something. Oh, Christ's sake. You think of the US economy, it's been propped up by the tech sector. If we can hurt the tech sector, they're going to hurt their economy and then hopefully their military. Because it's not doing anyone any favours, is it? Anyway, I'll say good night and thank you for joining us. Nice to see Joe here and an angry pagan and who's the other one again? There was somebody else there a minute ago. What's his name? God damn a minute. Can't find it now. It's way up here. Oh, here we are. Ryu Ken Watt. Oh, did I see the Alex Jones meltdown online when he found out InfoWars was getting sold to the Onion? Yeah, I did see that. That's hilarious. Anyway, sorry for this thing out. I'm going to say toodaloo now, and I'll go live again maybe tomorrow. Toodaloo.